Thank you. Mr. Farah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that this council come out of closed session and return to duty.
Support.
There's a motion by Farah, supported by Zemecki. Any objections? Seeing none, carries. Thank you. We now come back to the meeting. Now we take a vote.
Okay, Councilman Rolette.
Yes.
Councilman Zemecki.
Yes.
Councilman Farah.
Yes.
Councilman Graziani.
Yes.
And Councilman Clovis.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we come back over here. Are there any scheduled persons in the audience at this time? We see none, and we move on to consideration of bids. There's no consideration of bids. We do have a scheduled hearing. Is there a motion to enter into this scheduled hearing?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rolette.
I make a motion we enter into the scheduled hearing regarding the vacation of alley.
Support.
located at
There's a motion by-
1504th Street.
There's a motion by Rolette, supported by Zemecki. Any objections? Seeing none, it carries. Again, this is a public hearing, and it involves the vacation of an alley located at 15150 Fourth Street. Madam Clerk, please.
The property owner at 15104 Fourth Street has petitioned the city to vacate the alley right-of-way abutting his property between Orange and Balsam. At its meeting held on January 13th, 2020, the Southgate Planning Commission unanimously acted to recommend approving the request to City Council. Per Article 12, Section 190 of the City Charter, City Council must hold a public hearing to receive public comment on the request. At your meeting on February 5th, 2020, we set a public hearing for your meeting scheduled on March 18th. Notices were sent out and also posted in the alley for the required length of time. The administration recommends City Council's favorable consideration.
Again, this is a public hearing, and as a result, we are obligated to solicit questions or comments from the public. Does anyone from the public have any questions or comments? Does anyone from the administration or the council have any questions or comments on this? I think it's an excellent idea. It was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission. They do an excellent job. Seeing that there are no questions or comments at this time, I move that we close this public hearing.
Support.
There's a motion, and at this time, we're also going to be seeking a vote on this. What's the pleasure of the council at this time?
Is it the motion to come out?
The motion to close the public hearing, and that,
Oh,
is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Support the motion to close it.
I'll make a motion if you want to support it.
Okay, there's a motion by Zemecki, supported by Clovis. Any objections? Seeing none, carries. What's the pleasure of the council at this time regarding this?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we agree with the Planning Commission and vacate the alley.
Support.
There's a motion by Rolette, supported by Zemecki, regarding the vacation of the alley. Are there any objections to that? Seeing none, carries. Thank you so much. We now move on to Communications A. There's 4 items this evening. Madam Clerk, please.
As previously discussed at this evening's closed session, the administration has presented the City Council with a settlement agreement for Jerron H. Smith Bay versus Ryan Scott and Keith Shirkus. The administration believes that this agreement is in the best interest of the city. Therefore, administration respectfully requests that the City Council authorize this settlement on behalf of the city.
Thank you. It appears that there, and again, correct me if I'm mistaken, it appears that through our discussions, through the work-study session, that there wasn't anyone against the accepting of the 4 items on this agenda at this time.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Farah.
I move that this council approve a consent agenda for all the items under Communications A tonight to expedite this meeting.
Support.
There's a motion by Farah, supported by Rolette. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it carries. We still have to read it, Madam Clerk.
Okay, hang on a minute. I'm trying to.
No, I apologize. This is going
Okay,
quickly, and I apologize.
what am I reading now, the next one? Am I,
Go ahead.
Let's see, read it.
Mr.
Through the
Fournier.
chair, as designated sergeant at arms, I would say that the reading is not required, and we can move on to the new business item.
We can move on to the new business item. I just want to make sure.
is
about
correct.
that. I just want to make sure that the public was aware
We need to start.
regarding this. Okay, then. Very good. Thank you so much. There's nothing in Communications B. There's no ordinances. Is there any old business that anyone would like to discuss at this time? Seeing that, we now move on to new business. Madam Clerk, please.
Under the State Law Act 390 of 1976 and City Ordinance 248.05, please find the attached resolution to declare a state of emergency with council concurrence.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. What's the pleasure of the council at this time?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Farah?
I agree with the administration and move that this council declare a state of emergency for the
Support.
city of Southgate.
I'll support it.
Motion by Farah, supported by, was it Clovis or? Clovis.
Clovis sounds good.
Seeing no objections, thank you. And again, I want people to realize that we are in a position, Mr. Fournier.
Sorry to be a pest. I didn't see the final resolution, and I would just ask that that resolution acknowledge that the declaration is being declared under Public Act 390 of 1976, as well as City of Southgate Codified Ordinance 24805 of the Administrative Code.
Mr. Farah will reiterate.
I'll amend my motion to say that this council, under State Law Act 390 of 1976 and City Ordinance 248.05, adopt a resolution to declare the city of Southgate under a state of emergency.
Now, amend my support, how's that?
That sounds good, Mr. Clovis. There's a
I'm sorry.
motion by Farah, supported by Clovis. Any objection? Seeing none, it carries.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr.
Just, we had spoke earlier this morning, the city attorney, you had said something about 7 days.
Yes, under the statute, the mayor is permitted and authorized to declare a state of emergency for a 7-day period without council action. That was not done. We decided that it was best reserved for a discussion with the council, and thankfully, timing permitted that to be the time sequence.
Stay at
Thank
the
you very
podium for
much.
a moment, Mr. Fournier. And again, if it's decided that this resolution is no longer needed, I want the residents to realize it, and the mayor obviously realizes it too. It's being done to coordinate this operation more effectively, but if we're fortunate enough that this declaration is no longer necessary and it is before the time frame in which the administration has sought, the council is in a position where we can essentially override this matter, correct?
That is correct.
I just simply
Council
wanted everyone to realize what's going on.
can
It's simply being,
rescind the resolution or adopt a resolution
Exactly.
declaring the emergency resolved.
I just simply want folks to realize that this is being done to coordinate efforts more effectively, particularly from the public safety end. Mr. Mayor, do you
Yeah,
have a
thank you for
comment?
that clarification, Mr. Chairman. And the dates that we're talking about is June 1.
Absolutely.
So that everybody's familiar with it today through June 1. And I mentioned this earlier, but for those that might not have been watching the work study, we will then effectively, tomorrow on March 19th, residents who visit City Hall or for paying bills or to deliver city-related paperwork will be asked to use our 24-hour drop box located to the right of our entrance doors. The only part of City Hall that will be totally open is the vestibule during normal business hours. There will be a list of department phone numbers that will be manned by our staff to answer any other questions or suggest that there may be a need for a person-to-person, each department, person-to-person meeting. Each department will make that decision and then schedule one accordingly. So City Hall will remain open for business for our residents. It's just that there's going to be restricted access to our venue, and that'll take place starting tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Is there any other new business that anyone would like to discuss this evening? Seeing no new business, are there any unscheduled persons in the audience who would like to address the council or the administration? Seeing none, we go to claims and accounts, warrant 1397. Mr. Farah.
I move this council approve warrant 1397 in the amount of $1,587,643.72.
Support.
There's a motion by Farah, supported by Zemecki. Any objection? Seeing none, carries. Before we leave this meeting, I believe that with God's grace, that we will be successful in meeting the challenge that is in front of us, and we have to maintain as much calmness as possible. Our prayers are with this administration and making sure that it is successful in meeting this endeavor successfully.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a motion? Go ahead, Mr.
Motion to
Farah.
adjourn.
Support.
There's a motion by Farah and support by Rolette. This meeting's adjourned. May God bless all of you.